Hi, I'm Matt O'Connell. Over the years, I've coached thousands of people through the divorce process. And if it's one thing I've learned over those years, it's that divorce doesn't have to be expensive, and divorce doesn't need to be stressful and complex. In fact, divorce can be quite quick and easy if it's done properly. Now, the best thing you can do to get through your divorce quickly is to have a good strategy and then execute that strategy properly. Now, I've personally helped many people get through their divorce process in about a week or so. And I've done that by showing them just how simple it is and how quickly they can go through that process. Let me take a minute to show you just how quick and easy the divorce process can really be if it's done properly. The divorce process doesn't have to be complex. It's actually quite simple once you understand how the process really works. Now, all divorces start when somebody files for divorce. You and your spouse then need to agree on the 4 primary topics of divorce. If you can't agree on these topics, the court will decide for you. But if you can reach an agreement on these 4 topics with your spouse, hiring a lawyer and going to court won't be necessary. Once the 4 topics have been settled, the details are then written in a divorce decree. Once you and your spouse sign the divorce decree, you're legally divorced. That's all there is to it. Now let's talk about the 4 divorce topics: child custody, child support, division of net worth, and alimony. These are the 4 topics you'll need to resolve to finalize your divorce. Now, more often than not, couples can eliminate one or more of these topics. For example, if you don't have minor children, child custody and child support won't apply to you, so you can cross these topics off your list. Or maybe you have minor children, but custody isn't going to be an issue. And if you and your spouse have fairly equal incomes, then maybe alimony isn't going to be an issue either. My point is that many couples can cross one or more topics off their list, making their divorce even easier. But let's assume the worst case scenario. Let's walk through each of the 4 topics. If you and your spouse can't agree on child custody, then child custody will be resolved by a custody evaluation. This custody evaluation is generally conducted by a social worker from the county or the state. The judges and attorneys and courts have little or nothing to say in the matter. It's the opinion of the social worker that ultimately decides custody. Now, child support is the easiest to resolve because it's nothing more than a calculation. Child support is based on the number of minor children, income of the parents, custody arrangement, and a percentage set by the state. That's it. It's really pretty simple. Now, to calculate your net worth, simply subtract your debts from your assets. So, for example, if you have $80,000 in assets and you owe $20,000 in debt, your net worth is $60,000. Then simply divide your net worth between you and your spouse. Alimony is based on the income gap between your income and your spouse's income. The greater the income gap, the higher the alimony. The longer you've been married, the longer alimony will have to be paid. So how quickly can you resolve these 4 divorce topics? Well, a typical child custody evaluation takes about 2 to 3 months. Calculating child support should take no more than about 10 minutes. It's just a simple calculation based on the conditions of your specific situation. Now, creating a list of your assets and debts and then dividing them fairly generally takes about an hour or 2 if you take a common sense approach. It's really not that complicated. Calculating your income gap takes most people about 30 seconds. Arriving at a fair alimony payment based on that income gap can take some negotiating, but generally it takes only about an hour or 2. So unless child custody is an issue for you, there's really no reason why you can't settle your divorce out of court without a lawyer in just a few hours. Divorce is simple if you follow my proven common sense approach. Over the years, I've helped thousands of men and women settle their divorce in just a few weeks or less in some cases. I can guide you through the divorce process quickly without courts and without lawyers. With my help, you'll not only settle your divorce in just weeks, but you'll generally pay less than a few $100 and get the best result possible. Hopefully after watching this video, you now have a much better perspective on divorce and how the system really works. It doesn't need to be complex, it doesn't need to be expensive, and it certainly doesn't need to take 6 months. Let me help you get through your divorce in just a week or two. Now there are 2 ways I can help you do that. I offer an ebook for less than $50 that you can download right now and you can get started immediately. Or you can sign up for my coaching service for less than $200 and I will personally guide you through your divorce every step of the way. Either way, you can't lose. So let's get started. Let's get your divorce settled.